From my standpoint, yeah, all day long. Look at Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon obstructed justice for 2 years after the Watergate investigation kicked off, and he was only brought to bear after the Supreme Court finally said, "Mr. Nixon, you got to turn those tapes over." And so he did away with his defense counsel, brought them over to Camp David because he just couldn't stand to be in the White House. And the defense counsel, I forget what the guy's name was, St. Clair or something like that. And Mr. Nixon said, "Okay, now what do we do?" And the guy said, "There ain't no we to it, buddy. You either resign or you're going to be impeached. And by the way, while we're at it, I want to tell you that I don't like the fact that you brought me into your defense so late in the game and that you had all these tapes out there that basically incriminated you with H.R. Haldeman. And I really don't like that." And then Mr. Nixon said, "Do you realize you're talking to the President of the United States?" And Mr. St. Clair said, "Not for long."
Well, but Steve, picking up on that, you raised the question of obstruction of justice, and the allegations are that in his tweets and in his actions, by what he's saying to the FBI is impeding an investigation. First of all, you got to remember that the head of the entire judicial process is the president. So can he obstruct justice by making comments over an investigation of which he is the head leader? He's the one that appointed the Justice Department heads. Nixon was not indicted. He was not brought down by the court system. He was impeached by Congress. And I think you can make a very compelling argument, whether you like the guy or not, that if you're being neutral about it, that you maybe can't charge the President of the United States involving something like this with obstruction. What you can do is impeach him. And so that may be the way to get rid of him. That's how Nixon went. He was impeached. And so I'm not sure that you'll have all this discussion about obstructing justice, but it's going to have to be something completely out of the realm of his responsibilities as president, and the Justice Department is within his realms of responsibility. So I think that if Trump is taken down, it's not going to be about the courts; it's going to be by the Congress if they decide in their wisdom to impeach him.
So that brings to, I guess, the issue, and that is whether or not this is a, say, judicial matter, or whether or not it's a political matter within the House and the Senate.
Well,
I mean, that's pretty much what you said. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's what I said about his Teflon. I mean, from a political matter, he's kind of made everything political. In other words, from his point of view, everything is political. The fact today that he's saying the FBI is completely incompetent, they're Hillary Clinton supporters, you can't trust them. This is the people that he, works under him. And so he's clouding the thing to bring politics into it. Now, Will Mueller, who is, it's going to be interesting to see how far Mueller goes. I mean, this investigation is going off. It was supposed to look at a very small area in terms of a few things after the campaign. But now Mueller is going down every conceivable road, in my opinion, far beyond what his authority is, but that's nothing unique. Prosecutors in the past have done so. He's going to rack up, I would say, well over $100 million before all this is done in terms of the cost of this investigation. And so Trump has created an atmosphere where it all seems political. You take your signs based on the politics. And that's happened in cases going way, way back. So it'll be interesting to see. Mueller's going to have to try to indict him. If he does that, the Trump lawyers are going to say, wait a minute. You're indicting the guy that's overseeing the whole Justice Department. Congress is going to impeach him. That itself could go to the whole U.S. Supreme Court because that issue's never